Welcome back to another episode of Lone Star College Football. Today we're going to be discussing Jimbo Fisher and the Texas A&M situation, the cost of his buyout, what they need to do to turn that program around. But before we get into that, do us a favor, like the video and subscribe to the channel. We got a giveaway, $25 giveaway at 100 subscribers, and we just want to build a community. We want to get to where we can come on here, do live streams, and interact with y'all. So do us a favor and join in on that. With that being said, Texas A&M's had a really down year this year. Um, and honestly, I think last year was a down year as well. It just kind of got covered up by the fact that they beat Alabama. When you look at their team last year, they went 8-4, but they did beat Alabama. Honestly, the game they probably should have lost the worst. It was a fluke, and we know that because Alabama ended up making the national championship. Yes, they lost it, but they still won the SEC and made it to the national championship. So theoretically, if A&M loses that game, they're 7-5. And you're saying, well, 7-5 is still okay. It's not great, but it's not the end of the world. Texas, y'all went 5-7 last year. Well, let's go a little bit deeper. If y'all were 7-5, but you played 4 non-conference games, and what, 1, 2 of those are FCS programs? I mean, if y'all played a real program in your non-conference games, I mean, there's a good chance y'all could have been 5-7 last year. So when you look at that without this season, what we see is happening now, you say, oh, well, Christian, those are just what ifs. But then you get this year, and you're saying, okay, you beat Sam Houston, you lost to App State, you somehow beat Arkansas and Miami, which neither one of those teams are good anymore. I thought they'd be better going into the season. You ended up getting wins. Y'all were lucky those were at home. And then what? Now we're on a 5-game losing streak. Y'all are 3-6. You play Auburn this week. Honestly, I don't think y'all win that game. And then you play UMass, a nobody FC, or they might be. I don't know. They're nobody. Doesn't matter. And then you go on the road to play LSU. Like 5-7 is y'all's best hope this year, and I think 4-8 is possible. And I'm praying for 3-9. With that being said, the topic for today is not can y'all afford to fire Jimbo. I think you can afford to fire Jimbo. The question is, can you afford not to fire Jimbo? He's in year 5. Yeah, you had a great recruiting class last year. But what's happening this year? It's not great. You just lost Anthony Hill. I think David Hicks is going to drop out. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a couple other players drop out. The way that the thing is going with y'all having to suspend all these players, I would be surprised if y'all don't have 5 or 6 players transfer out and as soon as the season's over, go somewhere else. That class isn't sticking together. So you say, well, he's a great recruiter. No, y'all's boosters pockets. That's the great recruiter. That's how you got to number 1. And don't get me wrong. Don't come at me sideways. I know. Okay, I know every team pays for players now, and I know that most teams were doing it before NIL. I get that. That's not a secret. But you see what's happening when you buy all these players and then you don't have product on the field. These players didn't come here so that they could build A&M. They came here to get paid. And so when they're losing, they're like, I'll go get paid somewhere else, somewhere I can win at. Jimbo Fisher said it himself. You can go somewhere that wins, or you can come to A&M. The buyout right now, if the numbers I hear correct, is like $86 million. And next year, next October, whatever, it'll drop by $9 million. Every October, it'll drop by $9 million. And I think y'all need to buy him out and let him go. He'll probably end up at West Virginia. Wouldn't be surprised if he ends up there. But I think y'all need to, because I think even now, if you hire an offensive coordinator, how much is Jimbo really gonna let that guy be the offensive coordinator? I don't think he will. Not much, anyways. I mean, y'all's offense this year isn't technically terrible. I think it's just when y'all have been good, it doesn't matter. I mean, Haynes King, his interceptions are the problem with him. He's got 1,200 yards. His completion percentage is absolute garbage, 55.6%, 7 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Your other 2 quarterbacks in Johnson and Wagman They're 60 and 61%, 3 and 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. David A. Chain, what's his name? Devon A. Chain. He's playing good. I mean, 158 carries, 887 yards, and 6 touchdowns. The problem is your second and third best running back are your quarterbacks. You have no run game, no real run game. Like A-Chain is good, but you need a second running back. I mean, the Longhorns, uh we've got Bijan at 1,100 and some odd yards, and then we've got Roshan at almost 500, and y'all just got one running back at 800, and then your quarterback with 83 yards, and your other quarterback with 58, and those are your second and third guys. That's not good enough. That's not getting you anywhere. Evan Stewart's having a pretty good year, 598 yards on 46 receptions with 2 touchdowns. Moose Muhammad, I watched Joe's game last week. Moose played really well, 30 catches for 441 yards and 3 touchdowns. Honestly, I think, and Anaya Smith, he was going to have a pretty good year. He got hurt, and I hope he can have a good recovery and come back next year and play well. But I think Evan Stewart's gone. I think he's going to Texas. And I know I'm the burnt orange guy saying that he's going to transfer to Texas, but it came down between Texas and A&M. Xavier Worthy's been recruiting him ever since he stepped foot on y'all's campus. And now with how this is going, I think part of why he didn't want to go to Texas because when we went 5-7 last year, and he comes here now, y'all are 3-6. That's not keeping him, especially if Texas somehow manages to win out. If we win out, win a Big 12, win a bowl, that's a lot. Trust me, I know that's 11-3. If we lose a game, if we lose and we finish with 10 and whatever, or that's still fine. Like that's a good season considering we went 5-7 last year. That's a stepping block for the 2023 season. Honestly, I think y'all have to fire him. I don't think you will though. I think y'all got too much money invested, and even though your boosters can do it, I don't think they will because I think that y'all are going to lose recruits keeping them. You'll probably lose more firing them because who do you hire? Like who's coming to what major coaches are available right now? Yeah, Jeff Traylor from UTSA, he's a pretty good offensive coach. Like he could come in. But to be fair, he's coaching at UTSA. It's a completely different league than the SEC. He's going to come over here and there's going to be growing pains there as well. I just don't see any like Matt Campbell. A couple years ago, he might have been someone whose name was in the mix, but I don't think so. Dave Aranda, I think if he leaves Baylor, he's probably heading to Nebraska before he'd head to College Station. So, well, I don't know. Maybe he'd stay in the state of Texas. That could be a pretty good fit for him. But I'd much rather him stay in Waco and coach the Bears. I look at it and I'm laughing. Honestly, I love it. I hope y'all don't win another game. I hope you don't win a game for 3 or 4 or 5 seasons for all I care. Y'all ran from us in the Big 12. We're coming back. I hope this downfall slide continues, especially till Texas gets there so we can play y'all. And that's going to be fun. So with all that being said, if y'all made it this far, I doubt you did because you're probably an Aggie fan. But if you did, good job. You're able to listen to somebody else's opinion. That's pretty good for y'all. So like the channel, like the page, whatever, and subscribe and enter yourself for a chance to win the giveaway. Appreciate y'all.